We'd like to very warmly invite President Ranil Wickremesinghe to join us on our little platform, as well as the ambassador, the Embassy of Japan in Sri Lanka, Mizukoshi Hideki, Your Excellency. Can we give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as we invite them to join us on stage? A moving address advocating the sovereignty of Japan that was given at the San Francisco conference by the former President J.R. Jayawardena, as it remains in Japan's hearts, forever in the minds of people. Our discussion today revolves around asking people how we've been touched by this message and the kind of legacy that has left upon different people. And my first question is to the President. Sir, from the late, great J.R. Jayawardena, what was your favorite thing that you took from him?
Well, he's a master of politics, and I learned from him.
Can we hold on to the mic, sir? Yes.
He was a master of politics, and I learned from him.
Brilliant. And the continuity, what inspired you to take on the challenge even further?
Well, he taught me when there's a challenge and there's opportunity, make use of it.
Brilliant. Can we give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? I think a brilliant portrayal of how we can learn from leaders. And now my next question is to our ambassador. 70 years of friendship with Sri Lanka and Japan, a beautiful bond that we've had, and 71 years now at the Peace Congress that the late great J.R. Jayawardena did mention a very moving message. So what do you feel about the essence of today's event?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for this program. It's an honor that I have a chance to be here with all the Sri Lankan people to celebrate this peace conference in San Francisco. For Japanese people, there was nothing more important than this peace conference at the time. When Japan's destiny was dependent on this conference. The president said J.R. Jayawardena was master of politics, but I think he was also a master of diplomacy. And well, he made such a convincing speech that at the time, the divided international community was united, guided by his very convincing speech. And why could he could make that speech? Because he was observing the international relations. He was participating in Colombo Conference, which was previously held, and he knew the opinions of the Asians. And also he visited Japan before the conference, and he had discussed with the Prime Minister at the time, Mr. Shigeru Yoshida, and also he discussed with many Japanese people, many common people. So that was why he could make such a convincing speech at the peace conference. And well, J.R. Jayawardena, a young politician from a country which was little known to Japanese at the time, he made such an important role in this conference. So after the conference, he was the most known Sri Lankan for all the Japanese. And he still is. That's why Japan had made, such a contribution. Japan, Sri Lanka had cooperated, which has resulted in many projects, like as mentioned in the video, the Sri General Hospital, and this Rupavahini Corporation, and National Youth Center, National Youth Council, with the young people of the National Youth Council. I did a march this morning, and I was very impressed that so many Sri Lankan people still celebrate these occasions.
I think it has inspired a lot of people in valuing leaders of tomorrow and how we can take values or characteristics from individuals as that. Thank you, Your Excellency. Mr. President, Japan has always been very, very supportive, especially in this whole point of our challenging times, even when the world is going through different phases of life. How do you see Japan helping, assisting us at this moment?
No, as His Excellency the Ambassador said, this is a very old relationship. After the war was over and the San Francisco Peace Treaty was signed, unlike in the case of Germany, originally when all four powers signed, the Soviet Union not willing to sign it. So when you went to San Francisco, there has to be an Asian country that was going to second it. Philippines are not willing to do it. India also didn't want to do it. And actually Sri Lanka stepped forward. Both President Jayawardena, who was the minister, and also Mr. D.S. Senanayake, who was the Prime Minister. So he went ahead and he made this brilliant speech. But that was not the end of it. Then we had to, in Parliament, we had to pass the peace treaty as an act of Parliament. And the whole opposition, mainly the left opposition, was against it. They said there should be no peace treaty with Japan. Japan started the war. And if Japan was going to, if there was going to be a peace treaty, it is really, they should have Russia in it. So you find Dr. N. M. Pera, Peter Kenneman, Sundaralingam, all speaking. And it was Mr. D.S. Senanayake who defended it. This actually was the last speech he made on 29th of February because Parliament didn't meet. And he fell off the horse and he died. And I'd just like to point out his last part of what he said on this. He is very, very practical. He said, actually, we have made a contribution in bringing about this treaty. And that is a thing of which we should be proud. I do not want to say anything more. I think this is the first opportunity that Japan is getting to establish herself. It may be that they have done a lot of wrong to the world, but we should not harbor anger and try to keep these people down. And then he also paid a compliment to President Jayawardena. He said this way, one thing they want to know, talking in the opposition, they want to know is why our representative at San Francisco did not try to improve the terms of the treaty. I know that is a game Russia tried to play, but my good friend, the finance minister, resisted it. And he was able to see that Russia's game did not succeed. I think if we can congratulate ourselves, we should do so on being a party to bringing about this peace treaty. And further, we can congratulate ourselves that we had a representative with a backbone who made it clear that we are not going to yield to the game played by the Russians. So that itself showed the geopolitics of it. And Sri Lanka stood firm. So that friendship has continued between Sri Lanka and Japan.
And that diplomacy continues in the year coming. And Your Excellency, tell us about our friendship beyond this. What's our plan?
Now that President's nephew is the current president, I think, and hearing the President's words, I'm quite convinced that this relationship that former President Jayawardena has made, I think it will surely continue. And I am very honored to be here in Sri Lanka at this time. And I feel a very historic obligation to make this bond stronger.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you to the President as